Happy Sabbath, Willowdale. Well, I'm finally done high school. It feels weird. Everyone's going everywhere and doing everything, and I've never really had this much control over my life before. Honestly, I never had this much control over my spiritual life either, so I come up with a plan to maintain and strengthen my relationship with God. And one idea I decided on was pursuing truth over tradition. Now, truth over tradition doesn't mean stop going to church or stop trusting God. It simply means understanding why we do what we do as Christians and asking ourselves, what would Jesus do? Now, Jesus' time on earth was groundbreaking to say the least, as he challenged the Pharisees on just about every rule under the sun. In Mark 7, verse 7, he stated, "In vain they worship me, teaching as doctrines the commandments of men." Do you think you've ever been guilty of worshiping Jesus in vain? Do you think we've ever rejected the commandment of God that we may keep our tradition, like Jesus remarked in Mark 7, verse 9? I can definitely think of some times I was too obsessed with a certain rule or tradition that I missed its true meaning and thus never really got to connect with God. It is true that God gave us commandments and guidelines to keep us on the right path. But couldn't it also be true that if we become too hyper-focused on them, then we may miss the whole point? Lately in my Christian life, I've been asking a lot of questions, really wanting to find the truth of the Bible and Christianity. And one thing kept popping back into my mind. Jesus. Jesus is, has been, and always will be the truth. Everything he spoke of came from a place of love, a love we Christians need to exhibit more often. Everything he did came from a drive to help people, no matter what others may say. When we strive to keep the Sabbath, we abstain from certain foods, when we watch our tongue and do other things aligning with our faith, we need to understand the purpose and value. Otherwise, what's the point? Are we keeping the Sabbath because we think it'll get us into heaven, or because we truly want to spend time with God? There are so many times in our lives where we fall short because we believe if we strictly follow rules to the point where it could even hurt us, that somehow God would even be proud of us. As the embodiment of truth, Jesus ate with sinners on multiple occasions, which greatly contradicted the traditions at the time. But why? Jesus did the unspeakable because he knew through God's love and power that their hearts could be changed. That power of God, it's something, isn't it? The power to reveal the truth in our lives and in our hearts. It's that same power we need to let flow through us, that we may see the truth in his words, ways, and actions. There's no secret formula to worshiping God, and there's no secret formula to getting into heaven. All we can do is trust in God and do our part to bring heaven down to earth. However, we must understand why we do these things and how it impacts us, because if not, how can we expect others to understand? So to prepare for my first year of university, I'll be doing a lot more research on my faith to truly grasp its principles. Witnessing does in fact take a little more than being kind and loving in this day and age. So I encourage you all to examine your traditions, pray to God for a deeper understanding, to go search for it, and to become the best children of God we can be. The truth is right there in front of us. It's only up to us if we want to reach for it. Thank you, and have a happy Sabbath.